Good afternoon, everyone. I really missed not speaking to you last week, so I am glad to be able to do so now as we end week 10, starting week 11, and only two more after that. It's quite amazing. I just see remarkable growth in those of you who are posting, particularly in your reflections. And I hope you are all reading all of the discussions and keeping up, and maybe even going back and checking to see what people have written in the margins, because it really is very interesting. Actually, Isabel said something this week that made me stop and think, and she talked about Republicans and Democrats and how democratic philosophy, I'm reading this, in that philosophy everyone should have access based on community and social responsibility, and don't we all want that? And of course the extension of that is then, shouldn't we all be Democrats? Or in Canada, it would be, shouldn't we all be Liberals? So stop and think about that a little bit, because in fact we don't even have a functioning federal Liberal Party anymore, but that is the Liberal philosophy, which is sometimes summarized as a chicken in every pot. Who can argue, right? But I do want you to start thinking in the broader sense about the economy of the country and of the world. What is going on around the world? Why are there all of these countries that are defaulting on their loans? Why is the United States, this issue on August 2nd is not an issue of defaulting on, well, it is an issue on defaulting on their debt, but it's an issue to raise their debt ceiling yet again into the trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars of debt. So think about it. If we really believe a chicken in every pot at any expense, where does that leave us down the road? Somebody has to pay. Now, when it comes to paying for health care, let's talk about Canada. Health care comes out of your taxes, but 50% of the people in Canada do not pay any taxes. So for them it is true, it is free health care. And for those who are paying taxes, and some of us feel like we're paying plenty of taxes, we, the payers for the health care, have the only option of having the same health care as those who are paying nothing have. Oh yes, but don't we believe in social responsibility and community? Well, a lot of us, and we talked about this, including myself, we will go other places if we feel it is important for our family, usually our family, not ourselves personally, needs the care now and not in 3 months. Why should we not have the right to pay out of our own pockets for additional insurance to be able to get that care? That is the question in Canada. And in fact, I'm not putting postings on this on the forum this week, because we'll get more into it, I think, 2 weeks from now. It was found unconstitutional for Canada to hold a monopoly on health insurance. The Chiarulli, I think, is the name of the case, if those of you who want to go and look. The fact of the matter is that there are some private insurance plans now in Canada where people can go to these private hospitals. There's one in BC, and I think there's probably something in Montreal. And as well, we see this new initiative coming into Canada from the Mayo Clinic. These all would not have happened prior to the Chiarulli case. I might have the name wrong. But in fact, in Canada, you may not opt out of healthcare. You can get any insurance you want. You can pay zillions of dollars to go to the States for all of your health care and have it covered by American healthcare insurance, but you still will pay the same amount towards Canadian health care, right? Because it's hidden in your taxes and there is no opt-out mechanism. So, back to politics. What kind of politics is that? What kind of philosophy is that when there's a monopoly, when there is mandatory rules against private health care, when you must only have the level of health care that is provided, which is essentially almost a lowest common denominator, right? I know I'm being a little harsh here, but I want you to think about it. Think about the broad economy in the world. Canada, apparently, is doing very well financially right now. Do you think that would be the same case if we'd had a liberal government through the last recession, and if we were still spending for every single thing that came along, and thinking that these 50% of the people out there, a lot of whom are now unemployed, people who used to pay taxes who aren't paying so much anymore, are going to put up with that? That's how these other countries got into the mess they're in now. So you have to have a balance. You have to have Medicare that we have for everybody, and I would never ever advocate that we do away with it. And we have to have some form, I think, of private insurance to bring in additional money to provide services for people who cannot wait. And we can make it steep if we want. You know, you're going to have to really want it. But there are plenty who really want it. So think about who pays. Think about the broader Canadian economy. You can't just say, okay, let's have pharmacare. Let's have public home care. Let's add all these things on and have the same 50% of the people that are paying the taxes pay more and more and more. What kind of economy, what kind of philosophy would be running the country then? What country would we look most like? There's some questions for you for this week. So moving on, I'm not going to say much about Romano and Kirby and the reports. It's kind of heavy slogging, but I think you should look at those as political tools. We go back to week 1 when we were looking at that chart and what are political acts based on political philosophy, right? And at the end of the week, it asks you if there's some political tool that you think it might be useful to, sorry, I'm moving around all over the place, to reenact this week. So that's it for today. I meant to turn my air conditioning off. I'm going to have to, if you hear a hum in the background, that's all it is. We're now into mid-July, and it's hot, and I love it. Bye.